Okay, I have both CS6 running in SAM, and when I start Creative Studio version 6, you notice over here in this preview pattern box there's nothing in there, and that's the way I want it to be. So I'm going to minimize this and bring up 7. So I'll just go ahead and click on 7 and see if I can bring it up. There's 7, and 6 is running here in the background. Okay, now I have this so that it is also like CS6. There's not any patterns in here. I removed all of the GAML patterns that it loaded in here, 1200 and some patterns, and I just deleted all of them so that I would have a blank box here. That's the way I want it because of the way that I like to do things. I am not interested in having a bunch of patterns here and doing a search and find them, because usually I already know what pattern I intend to use anyway. So I'm going to just minimize this back down here and bring up 6. And see, what I mean is when I want to do something in a particular project, I usually just go and click on this Add Patterns, and I know where I want to go to look at a pattern. I go to my C drive, I go to Patterns by Laurie Thomas, and I use a lot of her patterns. So we can scroll down and find those. Okay, Patterns by, and I'll just scroll on down. Here is her patterns. And I'll find something that I like to use. And, oh, let's see here. I can't think of something in particular, so let me see. I use this pattern quite often. This is called Eddies, E2E, and I have it selected over here. Select it, click Done, and there's my pattern that I would use on this project. And that's just the way I want to do this. And I'll go back now to 7, and I can do the same thing. I have a blank screen here. I'll just go to Patterns. Let's see, I'll click on this and I'll import a pattern and see where it takes me to. Okay, it's taking me to the Statler ones. And that's not what I want. I want to go to Laurie Thomas, Patterns by Laurie Thomas again, and get that very same pattern, I think. Okay, there's the Eddies, and I selected it, and here it says down here, file name, Eddies. I'll open it. Here it is, and it's checked, means I can import it. Import selected, exit out of that, and there is my pattern right there. It's the only pattern I have in this box. So I would use that to set up my project. Let's see, I'm going to bring this over. I'm going to look at the size of it. Okay, it says it's 22, 18 inches wide. I'm going to go back to 6, and it's 18 by 22, so that's the same. On since I have a classic, I usually run this pattern at like 15 inches, and I'll let Creative Studio do the math right here. Now I go to CS7 and I'm going to delete that. So if I want that to be 15 inches high, I can go to the pattern properties. I'll just right click on it. Go to view properties, and here I can change it to 15 and click that and let Creative Studio adjust it to the 18. I'll save this. Now when I put it on the screen, it should come up to 15 by 18.38. Okay, that's how I would set this before I ever started setting up my project in the first place. That's just a little idea. Yes, in SAM you can experiment with having CS7 and CS6 both running on your computer. So now you couldn't do that on a Statler, of course, because if you was running the Statler had your red and green switches on, they'd both want to try to connect to the controller, and that can't be done by both programs. So, but you can play with it in SAM and have both 7 and 6 running at the same time. This is just a little idea. This is just showing you how I personally like to set up my projects. Hope that this helps.